So when you picture a national green energy transition, you probably imagine, I don't know, decades of slow policy debates, right? Like a super slow, painful shift from coal to gas.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's the standard expectation.
Right. But welcome to today's deep dive, because we are looking at something that completely shatters that expectation. And we really want to thank you for taking the time to feed your curiosity with us today, because these new insights out of Vietnam are just game-changing.
They really are. I mean, by 2026, electric vehicles in Vietnam hit this staggering 42.8% market share.
Which is wild.
Right. And they're growing at over 80% annually. Meanwhile, traditional gas cars are, being heavily discounted just to stay on the lots.
Yeah, they didn't just speed up the transition. They entirely skipped the middle steps.
It's a fascinating blueprint. We're looking at a complete market inversion happening almost overnight, and it's driven almost entirely by one national company.
VinFast.
Exactly.
Right, capturing 99% of a booming EV market is just insane. I mean, you see their VF3 mini SUVs and those limo green taxis literally everywhere there.
Yeah, they're ubiquitous.
It reminds me of like developing nations skipping landline infrastructure and just jumping straight to smartphones.
That's a really good analogy.
But I mean, smartphones don't require massive physical infrastructure to charge. To capture that much market share, there has to be a severe financial incentive for the buyer.
And that incentive comes down to pure economics. In Vietnam right now, gasoline hovers around like 81 cents a liter. But charging an EV on VinFast's proprietary network costs just 15 to 20 cents per kilowatt hour.
Oh, wow.
And if you charge at home, it drops to a mere 8 to 12 cents.
Because electricity in Vietnam is a heavily regulated public service, right?
Precisely. The state keeps those prices stable.
So when you compare that predictable low cost to the crazy volatility of imported fossil fuels, EVs aren't just an environmental choice.
No, not at all.
They are a massive boost to local purchasing power.
Yeah, it's really the only choice that makes financial sense for the average consumer. But, that rapid adoption creates an immediate structural problem.
Right, because if VinFast alone is capturing 99% of a 43% market share, the bottleneck isn't getting people to buy the cars anymore. It's the plug.
Right.
With all these new EVs plugging in, won't the local power grid simply fry?
Mm-hmm.
Like trying to force a fire hose through a garden pipe.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And the sources confirm that grid stability is their absolute biggest hurdle. To feed this EV boom, Vietnam engineered a massive solar berm hitting 21.76 gigawatts of capacity.
Wow.
But generating the power is only half the battle. Now they're having to shift from simply subsidizing the solar panels to focusing intensely on grid stabilization.
So using battery storage as a reservoir, essentially.
Precisely. They're looking at a required $15 billion in grid modernizations. This means heavy investments in battery energy storage systems, or BSS,
Okay.
and deploying innovative solutions like dual-use infrastructure.
Like the floating solar panels on hydro dams. Yes, exactly.
Which is a super smart way to bypass those land use issues you normally get with massive solar farms.
Oh, totally.
So they've figured out the domestic energy math. But, cheap local electricity doesn't really help them sell cars in Paris or Berlin.
No, it doesn't.
So how does this hyper-localized success translate overseas? Because if VinFast is so incredibly dominant at home, why aren't we seeing them everywhere in Europe? I know they halted their European expansion in 2025.
Yeah, and this is where their specific trade strategy becomes a bit of a double-edged sword. Vietnam actually has a free trade agreement with the EU, the EVFTA.
Okay.
But look at how they used it compared to India. India recently slashed auto tariffs to 10% to attract European tech, to build an open global manufacturing hub.
Right.
Vietnam chose the complete opposite route.
They utilize the trade agreement for exports, but maintain strict customs protections at home to shield VinFast.
Exactly. It's classic protectionism for a national champion. But if they're shielded at home, competing in an open European market suddenly exposes them to entirely different financial and critical pressures.
That's the root of their 2025 European pullback. The sources highlight the crushing costs of their direct sales model.
Because traditional automakers offload that inventory and real estate risk to franchise dealerships, right?
Right. But VinFast tried to carry all that overhead themselves, add in mounting corporate debt, and, the financial runway gets very short.
And the product itself has to be flawless to justify that model.
It really does.
Even though they brought in prestigious Italian designers like Pininfarina, a sleek exterior doesn't mask software glitches.
No, it definitely doesn't. The sources note that Western markets were highly critical of those software bugs and an overall driving feel that just didn't match established European standards.
Right.
Design only gets your foot in the door. The engineering has to keep you in the room.
So what's the core takeaway for you listening today? Vietnam successfully built a closed-loop green ecosystem, from solar farms to local EVs, by fiercely protecting its own market.
Yeah.
It's an incredible case study in rapid domestic transition, even if scaling globally remains a massive challenge. So thank you again for taking the time to share this deep dive with us today.
It definitely leaves you with a lingering question to ponder,
Oh,
too.
yeah.
If a developing economy can hit nearly 43% EV adoption by sheltering a single national champion, does our Western model of intense free market competition actually slow down our own green transition?